Out of the sun if you keep getting burned. I made a film. I'm a short film director, officially. It's called We Were Friends. It's on YouTube right now. It's on my channel. Go watch it. It's pretty good. I'm happy with it. I'm fortunate enough to have made something that I'm proud to say I think is good. Yes! So I thought I'd talk about the process of making it and some of the themes and why I thought they were important to address. You are technically watching a reaction video, so I've cheated you. I lied to you. I manipulated you. Okay, so we're just gonna go through it. First, the title. For the longest time, this was called The Walk, I think. The idea was two friends go for a walk, and that's the entire film. So it's just like, okay, well, it's The Walk. Unfortunately, there's a lot of short films out there called The Walk. So it was pretty cliched, and I really wanted mine to have its own identity to it. In the process of cutting down almost every single scene, I ended up with these two characters that the audience actually doesn't know that much about. So I had to explain to the audience that they were friends, and I was wondering how to do that, and I thought I could just put it in the title. I like this title a lot because the title is used as a device. It's not just a title to call it just because I wanted to call it something. It's explaining something to the audience. The title is kind of three things. It tells you what the relationship is before the film starts and after it ends. And it's technically exposition. A lot of this is just going to be me talking about my idea of the film. Technically, it's art. It doesn't even matter what my opinion is. You know, whatever you think the film means is the right answer. So from my point of view, the idea was that two friends who haven't spoken in a long time meet up again. And, you know, maybe one of them had feelings for the other, maybe they both sort of had feelings for each other, but they're just seeing each other again. This is not based on a true story, by the way. This is just something that came to my head because I thought about, the initial film idea was that I wanted to make a film. I wanted to make a film with my brother and a neighbor of mine. I thought, what's the easiest way to do it? Well, I'll just shoot around my neighborhood and just have them talk. That'd be interesting. I wanted to try making actual scenes and see how that would play out. So I came up with a couple bits of dialogue, and eventually this sort of framework of a story came about. I had these two characters. I knew what they both wanted out of life, and I really kind of liked them. It really completely transformed into something that I think is really special to me. It wasn't just me wanting to make a film, it was me wanting to make this specific story. So I got some friends together, Khadija and Alex, two acting students in the high school that I was studying in right before I came to Glasgow, and we read it, and then I rewrote it, and then I rewrote it again, then I rewrote it again, then I got some people who I made films with in that high school, Sonia and Nassim. We did a bunch of rehearsals, and it was that was a really handy process to have because I knew what I was working with. If I just jumped right into filming, I would be even worse of a director than I was then. So the opening bit with him in front of the door, knocking on the wrong door, I just thought it was kind of funny, kind of showed his character a little bit, and also established that the relationship wasn't so concrete. There was a little bit of tension there. It's also a tiny microcosm for the ending, because he's at the wrong place. He read the wrong directions. He thought he knew what was going on. It's like a little metaphor. Looking back, I wish I did like a Wes Anderson sort of wide shot where you just see him going through the entire process of walking awkwardly to her place where they couldn't quite talk to each other. I thought that was really amusing. It kind of works, but it could have worked better. I like that little conversation. I like the idea that you're listening into, they're just having a conversation. They're not like explaining to the audience what their relationship is or anything. It's just a little snippet of, you're not getting the full story. You're just getting what would probably be said at that moment. Then she comes around and swinging the hat. Khadija hates that shot, and I think it's absolutely adorable. I thought that was a cool moment to establish that it's sort of a banter that's established between the two of them. Oh, this song. Oh my god. Okay, so one of my favorite musicians of all time is Sleeping at Last. Ryan O'Neal is a beautiful man, and his instrumental music is incredible. I did this legally. I officially licensed the music through his management, and it was a really interesting process, and I had to fill out a bunch of forms, and I'd never done that before. It's not something I want to do again unless I have an actual budget, but I thought it was really important to establish this as like a proper film for me to officially license a song, and it feels really good to have some proper music behind my film instead of just me on the guitar. This song's kind of full of adventure and life, and this has always been my forte in filmmaking, is doing little montages of people hanging out and enjoying themselves and editing it together in some sort of way that you would understand the relationship and feel a bond between the two of them. It's just a style I developed over the years of having a camera and shooting people. Is like I would shoot my friends and they were all having a good time, and I got pretty good at communicating relationships between people and bonds between people. So I thought, hey, I'm making a film, why not capitalize on that ability? And I used that sort of strength of mine throughout the majority of this film. I just knew what I wanted out of it immediately, and I just told them, hey, go and play. Go hang out with each other. They weren't acting, they weren't saying lines, they were just hanging out, being people, which is all I really wanted, and that's why it has such a grounded feel to it. That's why it feels really real. They're not playing characters. I didn't give them lines. I just let them hang out, and I just told them who their characters were and that they could just be, which is an actor's dream. As an actor, if I got that direction, I'd be so happy. That was really handy for me because as an actor, I know what actors can work with, and I know what to say that would get an actor excited and really want to have fun in this scene. And I pretty much got exactly what I wanted from them. Of course, that cartwheel over the sunset. I mean, we filmed it during golden hour because I knew I just wanted to get all that golden hour lighting. That cartwheel was part of another scene, one of the scenes that I had cut, where it's this really heavy-handed metaphor about whether or not you should kiss a person by doing a cartwheel, and it's dumb. I'm glad I shot it, but I'm really glad I cut it. The best actors in the world cannot make dumb dialogue like I write work. An instinct that a lot of people have when cutting is cutting when the music really hits. For me, what I've found is it's really gratifying and shows a lot of restraint to hold on a shot and have the drop hit in the middle of a shot. Like, for example, when this piano hits, it's after they've been running for a while. For me, that just speaks a lot more, and there's a lot of soul to it. When the shot first comes on, the music is doing a certain thing, but then the music changes, and now all of a sudden the shot takes on a whole new meaning, and it becomes richer. So yeah, all this was filmed pretty much chronologically because I just got them to play and I just took a shot. I just picked shots very on the fly, very like a J.J. Abrams action scene. Yeah, this is very much on the fly. I just picked shots whenever they did anything. I just told them, hey guys, go over here, go do that, go skip rocks. And I would just follow them and do it. And they were just playing. Khadija said this was her favorite part of the entire filming, but it's also the first thing that we did, so clearly everything went downhill after that. I knew that these guys had good instincts, and I just wanted them to follow those instincts because I knew we were all on the same level as far as what we were trying to do with this scene. You don't find people who you can work intuitively with very often, and I really appreciate them and all the work that they did, and I would gladly work with them again because I know I can work intuitively and not really have to explain too much to them. That's a working relationship that I really value. I got so many comments about this match cut. The transition at 106 is actually hallucinogenic. That wasn't intentional. I needed to clean up this montage because it was going on for way too long and I really wanted to tighten it. And I wanted to include the beginning and the end of this shot, and I found that there's a bit where it just looks like he just teleports, and that's the beauty about art, is a lot of times that you'll make an intuitive decision and it ends up having a lot of weight to it. And so, that talks about the passage of time and how time flies when you're having fun and how you just end up places with people, and it ends up speaking a lot, but it wasn't planned, It makes the film feel quite alive. To me, at least, the process was quite an alive thing because I was writing it as I was editing it. I'm sure film geeks would just love that shot, but I can't take credit for planning that or anything. I love the shot of them both doing kind of individual things. Collective solitude is one of the best parts about friendship, is when you're able to just do whatever you want with someone and not feel like you have to entertain them. Bam! From him to the rock thrown in. That's, good job, Ben. I just made something that I know I would like to watch. I'm not trying to say it's the best thing ever. I just made something that suits my tastes, so I can enjoy it a lot. Oh, we were so lucky to have a swan come over. God, the swans in Lake Ontario. I miss this lake. I'm gonna miss home now. This entire park has just been my entire childhood. I used to go on walks with my mom there, and I really like this focus on Khadija's face. It looks like she's having some sort of profound moment. That was really important for me to establish for two reasons. One, because I think it's really honest, because I have a lot of those when I'm hanging with friends where I just realize that this is what I want out of life. This is beautiful. I'm having such a great time. I'm going to remember this forever. Feeling a real moment of clarity, and I tried to get her to capture that. God, look at that face. It's just so open and receptive, and you can just imprint so many emotions on that face. Good actor. The other reason was because later on she gets hurt because clearly that wasn't what he thought this was. She thought she was getting such a profound moment of friendship, and it's kind of ruined by him kissing her. Then this is just them playing because they're just so adorable. I told them to be cute, and they just were cute. It was great. This bit, I think, it's effective to me. I don't know if anyone else gets any out of this. Her at the flower garden is supposed to be kind of a bit of a male gaze moment. He kind of thinks that, oh man, I really, really like her. And you can see it in his face as he's looking at her. It's like, I don't know, just this idea of girls and flowers, and they're very delicate, and how he sees that and imprints this sort of desire in him. And I mean, that's where this conflict comes from, is he sees something in her that makes him want her, and not out of a connection, but something that he wants to have. So it's a little bit of a messed up thing that a lot of guys experience, and at least I experience a lot. I can't really explain it with my words because I feel like the visuals just kind of speak for themselves, but she's just being herself, and he sees it as, I love her, when it's not really love. It's just him seeing what he thinks is beautiful and letting himself get attached to it. I think he decides to kiss her at this moment, actually. Then cuts to their doorway. They're back at the doorway. The original story was that he had recently broken up with his ex-girlfriend and he wanted to go and talk to her about it, and she was helping him through it while also telling him about what's been going on in her life. And this is the result of that conversation is right here. And there's a little more dialogue I cut out, but it's an answer to a question of, why are you hanging out with me? And she's like, oh, I care about you and you're not happy right now, so I want to be there for you. Something that a friend would do. And then he goes and ruins it in just a couple seconds. Oh, that little shoulder rub is just so genuine and real. God, I feel bad for having to put them through this emotional turmoil that they're about to go through, but Alex really sold this. He really understood what I was going for as far as the immaturity of guys and thinking what you really want out of people and not realizing that you can just be as happy with a person platonically. You can really hurt people if you assume too much. She really cares about him, but he's taken that and running with it in the wrong direction. And then he kisses her, and she sort of kisses back because it was always intended that whether or not she likes him was up to the audience, and I didn't want ever to tell them. In my head, she does. The important thing was that the bond that they had was as friends, and he undercuts it and kind of cheapens it a little bit by making it romantic and about him getting a kiss out of her in the end. And that's hurtful. It'd be hurtful to me if I considered someone a friend and they just kind of went and kissed me and I just... Was that all this was to you? Was that just... And then right there, that face of her just with her eyes closed. Imagine staring at that. Oh, God, it's so brutal. Then my favorite shot of the entire film right here. Oh, God, she's so angry. That face right there. Oh, she's so done with his... That's what it is, right there. It's just, this was a really special night to me, but you just made it about getting a kiss out of me. You just... It's kind of objectifying, you know, and she's really feeling that. It's a very complicated feeling that she managed to address. It's just... This is basically my worst fear. That face right there, That's my worst fear. If I went and kissed someone and they made that face at me, I would be so horrified and so mortified with myself. The last thing you see is this really pissed off face, and then she turns around and you never see her face again. That's the last you see of her face, and it cuts away and you just don't see it. And then she walks off. Oh, this is a little filmic language happening here. The scene starts off and it's Alex's left side and Khadijah's right side. We're looking at them from a certain angle. Now, I do a thing where I break the 180-degree rule, but she's still on the left side of the screen, so even though I've broken the 180-degree rule, it's still kind of intelligible and you can tell what's going on. But the reason I'm breaking the 180-degree rule is because their relationship has changed. I did it very intentionally. Is the point was that their relationship has changed from this kiss and now they're not okay. And to illustrate that, I shoot them from the other side. And it's just silence, just deafening silence. The worst kind of silence in the world is just when something's just happened and neither of them know what to say, and he's messed up and he wants to apologize, but he knows that nothing he'll say will fix it. Ooh, that door slam. That's a brutal door slam. You don't see it, but you hear it, and you already know what it is. So one of the magical things about this film, and where you begin sort of deal, there was initially a bit where he walks down to the bus stop by himself. I just forgot to film it, and I realized that, no, this is where the story ends anyways. So yeah, basically that's my worst fear put in film. No, I think it's a story about young guys and what we go through when we think we know what love is and we think we know what we want, when really we're just reading into situations. And that's a really sucky situation to be in that I feel like a lot of guys have gone through. I've never personally been through this exact experience, but I know what it's like to assume too much. I guess the thesis of the film is that being vulnerable is dangerous because you never know what someone's going to do to you when you're vulnerable. They have a lot of power at that point. They could, and if they mess it up, then it could ruin a friendship. So that's the film. Wow, I've been talking for a while. My throat. Yeah. Welcome all you new people. Holy crap, I really appreciate everyone who came and checked me out. My subscriber count basically tripled overnight, and it's beautiful. Yeah. So that was the short film. We Were Friends. I'd love to make another one sometime. Probably won't be for a while, but that film took me 2 years. I'm kind of exhausted from the process. If you like the film, please share it around. I'd love for as many people to see it as possible. It was a really important piece of work to me, and I think it says a lot, and I think that people would get a lot out of it as a film, and especially young guys. and let me know what you think of the film down below, and if you have any other thoughts that you thought maybe I could have done better and stuff. I know there's a lot of things I could have done better. I think I made the best possible film I could have with the footage I got. Next time, I just got to get better footage. I'll see you quite soon. I'm going to make more videos for you.